just that we've never seen two orgs together. Something's changed.
Yeah, I can feel it. We need a fifth ranger.
Calm down, guys. I say we're doing just fine the way we are.
The Rangers refer to the monsters as orgs and that they're shocked that two of them were together at once. Meanwhile, Cole arrives in the city, asking random passerbys about the people in the photograph. That night, he sees a dog getting taken by a van owned by a laboratory and follows it. He frees all the caged test animals. From above, he's watched by a woman in white who contacts the Rangers. When the two lab people see a monster flying overhead, they see it as a sign that their master has returned, and they transform into the henchmen of the series, Jindrax and Toxica. The next morning, Cole wakes up with the other Rangers standing over him and telling him that he needs to come with them. While three of the Rangers are excitable and kind of creepy about wanting him to come with them, the Yellow Ranger just punches him in the stomach and tells him he's been drafted. Man, just imagine if Zordon had recruited the original five like this.
You have been chosen to form an elite group of heroes to fight Rita. And if you don't join up, Alpha will kick your asses until you do.
They bring the unconscious Cole to a floating island above the clouds called the Animarium, where their Zords roam freely, kind of like the Galactabeasts. Cole is able to understand the Lion Zord and his red orb glows. After walking some more, he meets the woman in white, named Princess Shayla.
You have been chosen to be leader of the Power Rangers Wild Force.
Why is he the leader? The others introduce themselves finally. Alyssa with the tiger, Danny with the bison, Max with the shark, and Punch Rockfist, aka Taylor, with the eagle. The other four also have the little soap orbs with plastic Zords inside of them, and Shayla explains that he's been chosen to fight the orgs. As a monster attack begins, the Rangers head out to a dam to fight them.
Take this, Ralpho. Do as we do.
I don't understand.
Don't worry. You will. Wild access!
Wild access!
Okay, a couple of things to comment on in rapid succession, so I'll get the first thing out of the way since that's what you're watching. I like the fight scene here, showcasing their styles matching their animals. The claws at the end of their hands are kinda silly, but hey, it's Power Rangers. The suits themselves? Awesome. The helmet design goes really well with their animals and feels reminiscent of the Mighty Morphin days. The primary colors to the suits are well focused, and while the gold diagonal sash across them is an odd design aesthetic, it does work. The morphing sequence is a direct translation of the original Sentai's and is pretty badass. That being said, I hate the Growl Morphers. This is the first and sadly will not be the last series to use cell phones as the Morphers, and it is stupid. Admittedly, the basic wrist strap Morpher was kind of getting a little boring. When Time Force was just kind of waving their fingers across the Morpher, you know they're not trying anymore. But the idea that a common everyday item is a morpher is just sad. The morphers should be unique devices, something you wouldn't normally see all the time on the streets. It makes the Rangers all the more special. They have been given these awesome gifts to help save mankind. Pulling out cell phones to morph makes me fear that at some point that the morphing sequence is going to get interrupted by someone calling them up and saying that they just texted about how Zed was such a noob. Anyway, the Rangers defeat one of the orgs and the other retreats, being intercepted by Toxica and Jindrax. It says that they're Duke orgs and cause it to grow. Cole decides to leap right at the org, but then gets smacked back down. You just know it would have worked if Carter had done it. By combining their orbs with their swords, they summon the Wild Zords. The downside to CGI Zords is that it can sometimes lead to very unconvincing fights, as we saw with the first Power Rangers movie. However, in this case it works. The fight is fast-paced, the music pretty good, and the sound effects convincing.
And so the journey begins. Destiny has brought 5 young people together, and now they set out on their wild adventure.
Who the hell was talking? Lionheart is a decent start to the season, but it leaves a lot to be desired. We don't get a lot of focus on the Rangers other than Cole, and you don't really get an idea about what exactly the Rangers are doing from the first episode. Comparatively, Lightspeed Rescue's goal was to eliminate the demons and prevent them from restoring Banshira's palace, said right away in the first episode. Time Force's goal was to recapture Rancic and the other mutants and bring them back to the future. Wild Force's goal is purportedly to defeat the Orgs, but we know very little about the Orgs, where they came from, why they're attacking, and who their leader is. It's not that the episode is bad, it just feels a little incomplete. As we continue, Cole contemplates whether there's another way to stop the Orgs besides fighting them. The other Rangers speculate that the Orgs must be getting help